We're back for another breakdown of the fights, a little dynamic breakdown of a very dynamic fight card. Okay, this one was a switcheroo. It might be Kape versus Almabayev, but that's not what was planned. Okay, and unfortunately, what was planned was the Apex. So, some more Apex streams. Snorlax is here in the back. He might throw in his picks. Who knows? I mean, we do have a random prelim that we're going to review, and if you don't like that prelim, you can go ahead and blame him. Don't blame me. Other than that, we're going to go over the main card, another Apex Flare. An early starter for this one. A lot of really interesting fights on this card, and like I'm going to keep saying, I like the cards that start a little earlier, at least earlier in my time. I don't know where you are in the world, okay? It might be horrible for you, and I'm sorry to hear that. So, for our agenda this weekend, we have Crying at the Apex and a switchy setup. Again, the main event was not what was planned. We had Brandon Royval, who was supposed to be going against Manuel Kape, but that's okay because it's still going to be a very competitive matchup. It's going to be a lot of sparks, a lot of fireworks. Really, the Apex is the only downside, so that's our agenda. We'll go ahead and we'll start from the top and we'll go backwards in time. So Manuel Kape, he is number 6 in the flyweight division. Starboy, can I get a sparkle sparkle? 17 finishes, 12 KO, 5 submissions, so he's got both, but definitely a knockout artist. This is his 9th UFC appearance, so definitely beyond the point of making his way. Been great so far. Up and down in the career in general, but really doing great. He's actually the first Portuguese Angolan fighter to ever be signed with the UFC, so hello Angolia, that is very, very cool. Manuel Kape is formerly with the Risen promotion, and he was bantamweight champ there. He actually comes from a family of boxers, so his dad and his brother are also boxers. He's one of those people where if he wasn't fighting in the cage, he would be fighting people in his daily life, and he got into some fights at school. He's definitely rolling with an elite crew over at Extreme Couture and has had some bad luck, okay? He has had cancellation after cancellation after cancellation on his fights. So this was, in a sense, a cancellation, but more so a switcheroo. So supposed to be Brandon Royval versus Kape, but again, it's probably Manel's horrible luck that creeped in and just forced it to be canceled. But anyway, what he really wants is the Pantoja rematch. So he actually went against Pantoja back in, I think 2018, a while ago, and didn't work out. So he wants that rematch. There's this really silly moment where he is on the mic and he's like, I'm not going to say any bad words, but, and then he proceeds to swear. He proceeds to say bad words. F. Moreno, F. Cara France, and then he says F. Adesanya. And I was like, what? Anyway, I was like, Adesanya? I didn't realize we were making that super fight. We have our number 6 going against number 8. Azu Almabayev, aka Zulfikar. I'm not sure what that means. Well, this is his 4th UFC appearance and performance of the night in his debut, actually, with a little rear naked choke action. He was supposed to fight Steve Erceg, so this is this is a switcheroo upon switcheroo, and he's stepping in for Royval. He's currently on a 17-fight win streak, and before and while going pro, he was working at his family's market, so that's a fun little story. Sounds like he could have a book written about him, and that would be a fun plot setting. He saw some MMA on TV in college and he thought, why not me? Please let me know if you agree that his life sounds like a cool plot for a movie, specifically an MMA inspired story. But I guess it all depends on where he goes from here, because he hasn't faced a lot of, comparable competition. Names who ring bells is what I mean to say. So here is a massive test and potentially a massive propeller into the talking sphere, if he can pull this off. So that's our main event. Let's go down the line to our co-main event. We have some middleweights. Okay, the madness continues. Cody Brundage versus Julian Marquez. So a little bit about Mr. Cody Brundage. He's coming off of a sub loss to Bo Tickle Nickel, which was unfortunate. Our friend Mr. Brundage has unfortunately suffered a win because of misqualification after getting struck in the back of the head. So, I'm hoping that he's all right. NCAA qualifier, 96 wrestling wins in college. Hello. Lights Out Championship is his origins. Okay, middleweight and light heavyweight. He is a performance of the night winner 2 times. And you know what? If you're going to watch out for anything with him, it's the ground strike. So he's one of those wrestlers that really utilizes his ability to control on the ground to throw in some creative strikes. So if you see him on the ground, expect this. So Cody comes from athletic greatness, okay, / great expectations. His mom was in the U.S. biathlon Olympic team. His dad is special forces. His sister D1 soccer. And he is also married to a former UFC fighter, Amanda Brundage. Talk about a crew. You know what I mean? I can't tell if hanging out with the Brundage crew would be really fun or really horrible. Like, are they just so cool because they're go-getters and they have done so much for themselves, they have just so many things to talk about? Or are they like insanely competitive? And okay, maybe it's both, but talk about a crew. Am I right? That is just, what a bunch of crazies. Julian Marquez. So the Cuban Missile Crisis, although he is born in Missouri and from there as well, so a little interesting there, but his dad is of Cuban descent. Just, not sure I like that nickname. But anyway, fight of the night, 2-time winner, performance of the night winner as well. He's 3-2 in his last 5, and both those losses are TKO, so not amazing. He has 4 first-round submissions, though, okay? And I want to tell you this. He is musical. He plays the violin and was in choir. I don't know if he is still, but that would be kind of cool. He has missed weight by 4 pounds in the past, so that's not good. Things to know. He has a podcast as well called Beauty and the Beast with Kendra Lust, an adult film star. So if that sounds like your thing, check it out. Unfortunately, that is a very bad name for a podcast, considering that Beauty and the Beast is a popular film and therefore is a name that has been taken many, many times in the podcast world. So you might have difficulty finding it, but it's out there. Just know that. So co-main event, Cody Brundage and Julian Marquez, they have both trained together at Factory X, okay, once upon a time. And Marquez is at MMA Lab now. He seems to be feeling pretty good. So maybe this 3-2 streak can get on the positive side. Should be a great middleweight matchup. So what else do we have on the main card? Okay, we got some lightweights next. Nasrat's going against Esteban Ribovic. Okay, Nasrat Rabat. Not sure what that means. Let me know. He looks like Calvin Gastelum. Sorry, I don't mean to start like this. This is probably where I should be ending. But have you ever seen them together in the same room at the same time? I'm just kidding. They don't actually look alike, but in some, they do. They do. Anyway, he's on a 4-fight win streak. He has gotten fight of the night, performance of the night 2 times, no submissions, but 10 TKO/KO, so definitely looking for that avenue. He goes for the takedown, but doesn't get it. Okay, only 1 in 15 in the UFC. So, not his strong suit, not exactly Calvin Gastelum, I guess, in that sense. Okay, I'm sorry. He studied mechanical engineering, and yes, that is important to me. He is fighting out of the Kingdom of Morocco. Come on. Right? No, a little. Okay, I know. Anyway. And he is going against Esteban Ribovic, who has a lot of hype around him right now because many people had his fight against Daniel Zellhuber as their fight of 2024, like their fight of the year. That was a crazy fight. He got the split decision win. Absolute firecrackers. His nickname is El Gringo. Don't love that. Not great. Trains at Alpha Team, not to be confused with Team Alpha Male. 3rd UFC appearance, so, he's still definitely making his way. We don't know, what he's capable of quite yet, but we do know he's capable of 7 first-round finishes, okay? He is 7.5 to 5 with his strikes landed to strikes absorbed, and I really like that. That is showing that he definitely is calculated and has a lot of really good movement. Okay, he is definitely, as you saw with the Zellhuber fight, he's willing to throw caution to the wind, but at the same time, the stats show that he's really calculated about that, okay? He lost in his debut, but he's been on a tear ever since. The thing about Esteban and Nasrat is that they're both always in the fight. So I don't anticipate either gentleman getting tired, or at least letting their tiredness get to them and hinder their performance. So that'll be some firecrackers as well. Moving on. Heavyweights. So, Austin Lane, Mario Pinto. We got a experienced versus a novice. And experience on Austin Lane's side. Former football player. I'm having a Greg Hardy flashback for two reasons, because they're both former defensive ends, but also because they actually had them fight. Yeah, on the Contender Series, Lane actually lost that, but he won in his second chance. So he has a no contest eye poke, okay, when he eye poked Tafa. And then in that rematch got KO'd. I find that interesting. Just a random. He is looking for the KO himself. Okay, so he has been KO'd, yes, but also has that, of course, in him, because we're talking heavyweights here, right? And he was on a 6-fight win streak before the UFC, and then things got a little bit rocky road after that. And they're putting him up against a Dana White's Contender Series newbie, 2024 style, Mario Pinto. Okay, don't know a lot about him, but he's from Portugal, and he made his pro debut in 2021, so fresh on the scene. And like I said, Dana White's Contender Series 2024, the weakness of never having tasted defeat, at least pro. He does have one amateur loss. He's very tall, 6'5", and prone to KO. And by that, I mean prone to win by KO. So kind of classic stack with heavyweight-wise with a veteran against up-and-comer. So that's a heavyweight matchup that we have. So hyped up on this undefeated featherweight. He's the Hurricane, which makes sense for his country of origin, but he is from the Bay Area mainly because he moved there when he was 6 years old, and so he's had a lot of great training to be around. Okay, we got Alpha Male, right? We have AKA, etc. We have the Scrap Pack, right? Diaz brothers. So he's been surrounded by a lot of that, a lot of great fighters to get scrap with. This is his 4th UFC appearance, so we're still making our way, and I want to tell you this. Okay, he is an incredible artist. We have here a piece, an original from the Hurricane. Okay, Hyder Emil, look at this. Is this not so cool? So dope? I'm loving it, right? This is a throwback, okay, as you can see from his little comment, but I just wanted to show you that he's got some incredible artistic ability. So check that out. Check out his Instagram. And he is going against William Gomez, the Jaguar, who's also a southpaw. Get it? Yeah, okay. He is on a 12-fight win streak, has not lost since 2016. However, last fight was a little controversial. Let me know what you think. So many canceled bouts, so we have two. We have two gentlemen on this card who know what it's like to be canceled, and not in the way that you think. 5th UFC appearance. 2 split decision wins. Again, so I was saying last fight was controversial. It's not the only one that's controversial in terms of his wins. But we got some France explosion coming at you here. So William Gomez versus Hyder Emil. That is going to be so cool. Featherweight. Okay, so now I have a random prelim to throw at you. And again, if you don't like it, blame my man back here. Don't blame me. He picked it out. Okay. Anyway. I just think that this is a fight to keep our eyes on because it might be the last time we see one of these athletes. Women's flyweight time. Andrea Lee versus JJ Aldrich. So Andrea KGB Lee, she is a veteran in the sport. 1,127 strikes landed in UFC flyweight division, okay? Invicta and Legacy Fighting is where she comes from. Love to see my Invicta legends. She was suspended for using a diuretic, which is really interesting because that is in some ways something that makes your athletic performance worse. Okay, weird. Fight of the night, performance of the night one time, but this is the important thing. She is on a 5-fight losing streak, all decisions though. 2 of which are split. So maybe that's the reason why the UFC is giving her another chance here, because you know how it is with the UFC, okay? You can lose one fight after being on a 3-fight win streak and they'll say, well, you're not enough. Goodbye. She is on a 5-fight losing streak, okay? But it is true. Yes, 2 of them are split decision. And that is some important information to take in. And she is going against one of my all-time favorites, JJ Aldrich. She has been a dog in this game, and she has put on some incredible performances. So, 13-7 is not a great record, but if you watch her fights, we're talking dog, okay? We're talking doesn't give up. We're talking blood and guts. Okay, maybe not guts, but we're talking blood. Another Invicta alum. Ultimate Fighter, anyone except one against Tatiana Suarez, very unfortunate. But freestyle cage fighting, that's what she went back to. So had a little bit of a journey to the UFC. Invicta, tough, freestyle cage fighting, back to Invicta, then we get to the UFC. Veteran status. We are 2-3 in our last 5, so not looking amazing, but you know what? She's seen worse. She's been through worse than that, so she can come over that adversity on the other side. She's got an incredible head on her shoulders. She was a Taekwondo black belt by age 13. Okay? And if you want to see an incredible fight, check out her battle against Veronica Hardy, okay? Which she did not come out on the other side successful with, but that is an incredible decision matchup, and you can see 2 Taekwondo black belts go striking head to head. And you know what? 2 sweeties. JJ is a sweetie. She's a sweetie McSweeterson, okay? And I love that, and I just want to highlight a sweetie. Wanted to highlight this random prelim because it might be the last time that we see Andrea Lee. And it might be the last time we see JJ Aldrich. You never know. I also wanted to highlight it because I think JJ Aldrich is just a wonderful human being. And I always look forward to seeing her fight. So that is a main card breakdown for Kape versus Almabayev coming up this weekend in the Boo Apex with a fun random prelim. So let me know which fight y'all are looking forward to the most. Maybe it's one of the prelims that didn't get a chance to go over. I would love to know. We're going to be going over all of the fights in the review. Lots of other good fights all over this card. More women's flyweight. And you know what? We have Ramazov back. Timmy Roth versus Charles Johnson. And this is going to be for a top 15 position in the flyweight division. So Timmy Roth is sitting unranked right now, but Charles Johnson is number 12. So kind of interesting that that's not appearing on the main card, but maybe that's the fight you're really looking forward to. In the main event, we have a flyweight top 10 battle. In our co-main event, we have a middleweight career wrestler who, who's gonna save their job potentially. Lightweight, we have a fireworks between 2 people who just won't give up. And heavyweight, we have classic slugger, veteran versus the youngster who's gonna knock who out first. We have a featherweight matchup with Flair. Okay, wait, just one more thing. I drew something that looks just like Hyder's stuff. Kind of. Except for black and white. The other day. Funny, right? Peas of a pod. At least I think so.